Please be seated. Dear graduating students, family members and friends, distinguished members of the faculty, and members of the entire Harvard School of Public Health community, it is my immense honor and pleasure to be here today to preside over this important rite of passage for the class of 2012. Congratulations to our graduating students. Congratulations also to your family, friends, teachers, and mentors. All of whom have been supporting you emotionally, sometimes even financially, on this important journey. A few weeks ago, you probably could not imagine getting to this point with so many papers and projects and tests to complete. But all of that is behind you now. Savor this moment, if only for a short time. And then it is my hope that you will go out with your newfound knowledge and produce powerful ideas that will create a healthier world for us all. This year's graduating class comes from 57 different countries, represented by the national flags displayed along this tent. In addition, our U.S. graduates come from 34 states, plus the District of Columbia. The graduating class of 2012 is comprised of 515 accomplished individuals upon whom President Drew Faust has conferred an impressive array of degrees. 25 doctors of philosophy, 1 doctor of public health, 53 doctors of science, 272 masters of public health, 153 masters of science, and 11 masters of arts. 61% of this year's class are women. Public health is in good hands. This is my 4th commencement ceremony as dean. Each year, I am even more impressed with the talent, intellect, compassion, and diversity of our graduating students. We have students graduating today who, during their time here, have worked with faculty to develop research that has been published in prestigious journals, ranging from the New England Journal of Medicine to the Annals of Surgery. Graduates sitting before me today have spent their time at the Harvard School of Public Health working with international non-governmental organizations and UN agencies to assess the cost-effectiveness of new strategies to prevent child malnutrition. You have researched the quality of cervical cancer screening and hepatitis C care among the homeless in Boston. You have studied the relationship between arsenic in drinking water in Bangladesh, a person's genetic makeup, and the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. You have completed the first study ever done to determine the prevalence of drug-resistant tuberculosis among people with HIV in Nigeria, work that will lead to better care of patients in the future. These are but a few of the accomplishments of the people we are here to congratulate and celebrate today. In thinking about what I would say at this commencement, I came across a quote from Sheryl Sandberg, the Chief Operating Officer of Facebook, which I would like to share with you. And I quote, "Don't let your fears overwhelm your desire. Let the barriers you face, and there will be barriers, be external, not internal. Fortune thus favored the bold, and I promise that you will never know what you're capable of unless you try." End of quote. Now, I suspect some of you are wondering, why is the Dean of the Harvard School of Public Health quoting a business person at commencement? Shouldn't he be quoting Einstein or Pasteur or even Plato? The students who selected today's commencement speaker can probably surmise why I quote a business person at our ceremony today. Our commencement speaker, Gerald Chan, is a graduate of Harvard School of Public Health who has pursued what many would consider a bold, non-traditional career path since earning his degree. That path has taken him from a promising career in academia to private business as an entrepreneur and innovator. And now Gerald is coming back to academia, at least part-time, to teach and mentor students here at Harvard School of Public Health. Wherever his career path has taken him, Gerald has worked in the service of improving people's health. What we see today in the career paths of Gerald, an increasing number of people like him, is what I call career plasticity, a refusal to let those barriers that Sheryl Sandberg talks about get in the way of achieving great things. The tightly defined career paths where a student goes to Harvard School of Public Health and then pursues a career in academia or the public sector, or alternatively, goes to Harvard Business School and pursues a career solely in the private sector, those are no longer the only routes to personal and professional achievement. The old career rigidity is melting away due to the power of connectivity and the global nature of the world we live in. Barriers are dropping between countries at an amazing rate. A growing number of people are interconnected. The world's economies are all interdependent, as the financial collapse of 2008 has taught us in a painful fashion. And as those of us in the field of public health know, even the longest intercontinental flight is now quicker than the shortest incubation period of most known pathogens. So a person infected with a deadly virus can get on a plane without symptoms and arrive a half day later at the other end of the world, only to fall ill, having spread that virus to another continent in a few short hours. The last few years have also taught us that no government, even that of the wealthiest nation, can afford to pay all of the scientific research and all of the public health programs that we require to keep people healthy. As a result, it is vital that we have people educated in science and public health who see opportunities where others see barriers, who are comfortable moving easily between the worlds of government, business, civil society, and academia to improve people's health. At this Commencement 2012 ceremony, it is worth considering for a moment not only how far you have come, but also how far the field of public health has come and where we hope you, as its future leaders, will take it. There are very few areas of human endeavor that have experienced more change in the last 100 years than health. But because these changes are not cataclysmic, we can lose sight of them. I invite everyone here today to think back in your mind to about the time you were born or your parents were born. Not the Middle Ages, but fairly recently. And think about what things were like. Smallpox was still killing millions of people in the middle of the 20th century. Today, thanks to a dedicated group of public health professionals, including an HSPH alum, by the name of Bill Foege, a system of worldwide vaccination was developed. Smallpox has been eradicated. In the 1940s and 1950s, there were just a handful of useful drugs and vaccines. The first mass-produced antibiotics had only come on the scene a few years earlier. There were millions of people around the globe who had died of polio or who were suffering its long-term effects, and a polio vaccine had just been developed. Now, thanks to vaccines made possible by the discoveries of an HSPH faculty member, the Nobel laureate Thomas Weller, polio exists in only a handful of countries around the globe, and eradication appears as a real possibility. Think how much things have changed since the 1960s or even later. People were smoking everywhere in the 1960s. Now, smoking in the US and increasingly in other countries around the world is prohibited in public places, and the rates of lung cancer attributable to smoking have declined as a result. When AIDS was first identified in the early 1980s, it was a nearly uniform death sentence, and people didn't know where it came from or how it spread. Today, while it's still a scourge in many poor countries, particularly those in Africa, thanks to the efforts of people here at HSPH and elsewhere, we understand how the disease spreads and have major efforts underway to prevent it. New drugs and systems for distributing those drugs over the past couple of decades are helping to make AIDS a chronic disease that in many circumstances people can live with rather than die from. Today, infectious diseases like AIDS, TB, and malaria remain as major threats in the poorest countries. But as people are living longer, they are also experiencing diseases previously prevalent mostly in rich countries: diabetes, heart disease, cancers, mental illness. We are, in effect, victims of our own success. It is a double whammy, potentially for fragile health systems in developing countries. And the dual burden of infectious diseases and non-communicable diseases threatens to overwhelm those countries' health systems and their economies. Here in the US, the biggest threat to the economy, conceivably, is healthcare costs. They are spiraling higher because of the growth in chronic diseases like diabetes, heart disease, and cancers, many of which are tied to obesity, smoking, and other unhealthy lifestyles. But those costs are also rising because our healthcare systems are inefficient, and we focus so much money on treating disease rather than on keeping people well. The costs of diseases and illness in the 21st century also come from our environment, both the physical and the social environment. Yet our society frequently gives little credit to the role investments in decreasing air pollution, preventing violence, or providing a better education to our children will have on improving people's health. For the past nearly 100 years, we at Harvard School of Public Health have made fundamental contributions to improving people's lives. These discoveries and improvements are an important legacy that Harvard School of Public Health provides to future generations. But perhaps our most important legacy is educating and mentoring outstanding students like you. You are an immensely talented and accomplished group of students. I am proud of the contributions made by our community of public health leaders, faculty and students alike, over the past 100 years and today. While I do not know how precisely you will improve the quality of people's lives around the world in the years ahead, I have no doubt that you are destined to do great things. You have a passion for serving your fellow human beings. You burn with a mission to pursue knowledge and ideas that will empower millions of people to lead healthier lives in the years ahead. And you have the generosity of spirit to be outstanding colleagues and mentors to the public health students who will follow you in the years ahead. In your time here, you have shared ideas and overcome barriers. And now it is time to seek your own path. As Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail." Congratulations. I am now honored to introduce today's student speaker. Kevin Koo is a medical student at the Yale University School of Medicine. He is graduating today from the Master of Public Health program with a concentration in health and social behavior. He's also a Harvard Zuckerman Fellow, a program here at the university that recognizes young leaders working at the intersection of health, government, and public service. The son of Taiwanese immigrants, Kevin discovered his passion for public health during medical school, where he realized that the greatest health challenges that his patients faced could not be solved by clinical medicine alone. As a policy intern at the World Health Organization, he was inspired to examine health systems in South Africa to improve rural HIV care. These experiences led him to his MPH practicum at the Discovery Channel, where he helped to produce a documentary about HIV disparities in America's communities of color. At Harvard, Kevin has been active at the Center for Public Health Leadership and was a member of the Roadmap to 2013 Strategic Planning Initiative, which is examining ways in which we can enhance the educational experience of our students. He aspires to a career as a public health physician, developing programs that are economically and culturally sensitive to the communities they serve. Please join me in welcoming and congratulating today's student speaker, Kevin Koo.
Dean Frenk, Dr. Chan, distinguished guests, faculty and alumni, parents, families, and fellow graduates. Greetings and good afternoon. It's my honor to represent the class of 2012. Today we gather here in the familiar Kresge courtyard, where we've shared lunches, class discussions, and one memorable fire alarm on the coldest day of January. Look around and you'll see that we sit at the literal and philosophical intersection of education, research, and practice. Behind us, the Kresge building, the theoretical foundations of our knowledge, our veritas. In front of us, the Countway Library, the House of Scholarship. On one side of us, the medical campus, our partners in protecting and improving the health of the public. And on the other side, the community, reminding us of our commitment to public service. It's no accident or surprise that we meet in this space today, because our time at the Harvard School of Public Health has not been exclusive to any one of these domains. Rather, this space is the union, indeed the nexus of them all. Today is a time for introspection. Like many of you, I've spent a lot of time in the past few weeks reflecting on what this experience has been and what it will become. Reflection offers us insight and meaning. It lends us courage. It inspires us to action. I would characterize the time we've all spent here as a journey in introspection and inspection, with health at the core. We each arrived with our own lenses on health. I, as a future physician, with one foot in the clinic and the other in the community. Some of us as aspiring policymakers or community advocates, improving health by strengthening healthcare, and others as researchers or investigators in pursuit of knowledge that illuminates the path to a healthier tomorrow. Today, we leave this school having examined health from a diverse array of new, sometimes unfamiliar perspectives. And tomorrow, we turn to our work with the awareness that public health is derived not from a singular definition, but from meanings as vast and varied as the people for whom health matters, the citizens of the world. But today is also a time to think beyond the boundaries of this school. We may belong to different programs and departments, and we may have entered with different aspirations, but I know that all of us have probably shared the experience of riding the M2, that purple and white shuttle that connects our campus with the rest of the university. And there's a reason I've seen so many of you on the M2 with me. Leadership in public health demands a multidisciplinary approach. And there's something about this spirit that's embodied in our M2 shuttle, which connects people, bridges ideas, brings our collective purpose to bear on the most challenging, important issues of our time. And as the world looks to us for solutions, I know we'll see those 22-minute journeys to the law school, the business school, the school of government, and beyond as capturing the essence of how public health is embedded in the narrative of our communities and in the future of our world. So then, how do we, as individuals, as public health leaders and professionals, and as a class, achieve the meaning of our commencement? Today, surrounded by those who have taught you, mentored you, challenged and inspired you, instilled in you values and traditions, look inward to your passion and to the themes of public health that have defined your time here. And look outward to the aspirations that grounded this education and to the great social complexities that await your dedicated attention. Then, tomorrow, I hope that each of us, having reflected on what drives us from within and examined what may lie ahead, will face the new day with confidence, with conviction, and with compassion. Class of 2012, let us embark on the journey for which these surroundings have prepared us. Ignited by our passion and guided by our purpose, let the journey begin. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. That was very impressive. You make us proud. It is now my honor to introduce today's commencement speaker, Gerald Chan. Gerald is an alumnus of the Harvard School of Public Health who studied radiobiology at our school in the 1970s with Professor John Little in what is now the Department of Genetics and Complex Diseases. I know Gerald has always felt deeply indebted to Professor Little for the mentoring role he has played in our speaker's life. Jack has made important contributions to the understanding of genetic effects of radiation and other carcinogens, cancer treatment and assessment of the health effects of the public's exposure to radiation, and we're delighted that he's here today at graduation. Gerald's career, as you will hear it today, has not been a traditional public health career, and I know that Gerald would be the first to acknowledge Jack Little's wise counsel as one of the reasons he has been so successful in his chosen path. Last year, Gerald came and gave a talk to our students, and it was a packed house. They heard from a wonderful public health professional whose life work demonstrated that efforts in private industry can play as important a role in improving the human condition as can work in academia, medicine, non-governmental organizations, and elsewhere. Gerald believes that the intersection of science and the private sector is a fertile territory for promoting the public good, and that working for private industry is not something to be feared or looked down upon. Our students apparently agreed as they selected Gerald to be this year's commencement speaker. I think Gerald told students during that lecture last year that we at HSPH probably perceive of him as the black sheep of the alumni family, but nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, this past January, Gerald returned to HSPH yet again and taught an extremely popular winter session course on change and innovation in public health. Gerald's early career will sound familiar to many of you. After receiving bachelor's and master's degrees in engineering from UCLA, he went on to earn a Master of Science degree in medical radiological physics and a doctorate in radiation biology from Harvard School of Public Health. Gerald embarked on an extremely promising academic career, publishing a number of papers in top journals, including Nature and PNAS. But instead of continuing in this more traditional public health track, Gerald co-founded Morningside, which over the past 25 plus years has developed a global portfolio of investments in life science, internet companies, education, and clean energy technology. And he did so with a strong commitment to social responsibility through philanthropic contributions and the support of scientific research. That career path has given Gerald first-hand experience of the slow, underfunded, and highly risky process of bringing promising research from academia to the marketplace. He has come to understand well the importance of pairing private capital with astute scientific acumen. Gerald's firm has invested in a number of early-stage discoveries that have paid off both in economic terms and by delivering on the great promise of academic discoveries to the healthcare sector. The investments range from spider silk, now used to surgically repair torn ligaments, to less expensive streptococcal pneumonia vaccines. He has supported innovations such as novel biologics for treating inflammatory diseases. In the area of cancer, he has worked both in making inexpensive chemotherapeutic drugs work better, as well as pioneering the use of oncolytic viruses, that is, viruses that preferentially infect and kill cancer cells as a new form of treatment. I recently returned from my trip to India, where I attended a reception from HSPH alumni organized by an alumna, Swati Piramal. Swati is also a person who has used what she learned at HSPH to harness the engines of the private sector to solve public health problems. At the reception in India, I was amazed to see the number of other alumni from our school who are now pursuing entrepreneurial careers in public health, developing startups in a wide variety of innovative areas, not only in the life sciences, but also in mobile phone applications that hold immense promise to expand access to care by underserved populations. A number of students sitting in our graduation ceremonies today have participated in Project Antares, a program developed jointly by faculty at HSPH and Harvard Business School to encourage social entrepreneurship and health, working on projects that will advance the public good in a sustainable manner. Clearly, today's commencement speaker is a pioneer in entrepreneurship and public health, and in career plasticity. The path he has taken is now being adopted by others. It is my honor to introduce Gerald Chan as the 2012 Harvard School of Public Health commencement speaker.
If you don't mind, I'll take off my cap because you don't want to hear what I have to say when I'm hot-headed. Sort of warm here. Commencement is a rite of passage, as the dean has said, whereby the new graduates are inducted into the company of the learned. In your honoring me by inviting me to share this day with you, I suppose I'm expected to impart to you some words of wisdom as part of this rite of passage. I also sense that there is an expectation that I would draw on my diverse life experience in formulating my comment, being one who had gone to school here and then gone on to do different things. I will attempt to do so by gathering my thoughts around three themes: idea, public, and health, which as a play on words became the title of my speech today, The Idea of Public Health. First, let me talk about idea. In times past, when the discovery of new knowledge was slow and the dissemination of a lot of knowledge constricted, a learned person was one who had acquired and possessed knowledge. A gentleman in China once brought me to the library of his late father, who was a professor there in the first half of the 20th century. Examining the books in that library, I couldn't help but notice that the university-level books of that era were written strictly for the conveyance of knowledge. It was a time when knowledge was precious and few had possession of it. Now times have changed. New knowledge is being produced at a breakneck speed and is readily available to anyone with connection to the internet. A learned person can no longer be defined merely as one who is in possession of knowledge, or perhaps more accurately and somewhat derogatorily, in possession of information. Today, whether a person can be considered as a learned person hinges on what he does with the knowledge that he has. A beautiful mind is not beautiful by virtue of its storage capacity, nor even what has been stored in it. A beautiful mind is a mind with beautiful ideas. By an idea, I do not mean a thought which unexpectedly pops into your consciousness, like the 4-year-old in the playgroup that says, "Hey guys, I got an idea." By an idea, I mean the conceptualization of a matter which results from a conscious examination of it. Let me use a specific case to illustrate what I mean. I refer to the book, The Idea of a University, by John Henry Newman. Universities have been in existence since the 11th century, but it was not until the publication of this book in 1852 that there was a conscious examination of the aims of a university, what should be taught, how knowledge should be handled, and what should be the university's relationship with the students, the professors, and to other institutions, religious and secular. An idea is therefore both an abstraction and a generalization concerning a matter, a mental structure which brings into view the whole as well into focus the parts. Let me further elaborate by resorting to history. The actors on the stage of history come and go. The effects of their action decay rapidly, albeit with different half-lives, except insofar as those actions express ideas. It is the effect of these ideas that persist and move history forward in the long run. The founding fathers of America are long gone, yet their ideas, embodied in the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Federalist Papers, and the Bill of Rights, continue to inform how society should be organized in this country. They still set the course of this nation's journey. From the other end of the political spectrum, one may point to Karl Marx. Long after he died in obscurity, his ideas continued to sustain utopian imaginations and animated social and political struggles all over the globe. The historian R.G. Collingwood went so far as to say that the historian is not concerned with events as such at all. He is only concerned with those events which are the outward expression of thoughts, and is only concerned with these insofar as they express thoughts. This coming from the final work, his book entitled The Idea of History. I talk about ideas because I see in the communication of today's society, be they among individuals or the masses, an impoverishment of ideas. Politicians are known by their sound bites. Messages with 140 characters or less encourage the communication of the trivial. Tweets are great for knowing where your friends are having dinner tonight, but they are not conducive to the generation nor the communication of ideas. If modern communication technology had dumbed down society, it is in its proliferating communications which have no relevance to enriching the pool of ideas found in society. Being flooded with minutiae of everyday life subverts our intellectual life by luring us into and holding us captive in the present, in what is, such that we have no time and no energy left to consider what might be. or what can be, or what should be. The peril we face in today's society is that we unwittingly become mere pragmatists and soon exhausted realists. I may be condemned here for being idealistic. That's fine. History shows us that ideas are indeed aspirational. In the idea that all men are created equal is the aspiration that all men may be able to live as equals. It is in this gap between what should be and what is that there is a potential energy which, when harnessed, can be converted into kinetic energy to power action. In other words, ideas empower actions. A person devoid of ideas will have neither ideals to work towards nor the energy to do so. So my first advice to you graduates is to enrich your life with ideas, even big ideas. Read, reflect, and ruminate. There is your new 3 R's. Observe and deduce, postulate and verify, look for connections, be curious, be open-minded, reframe problems rather than just looking for answers, have the courage to differ from conventional wisdom, and do not dismiss your intuition. Discuss, debate, discourse with others, look into history, watch current affairs, study the sacred texts, observe humanity. These are the mental habits conducive to the spontaneous generation of ideas. A life is only rich when it is rich with ideas. I shall turn now to address my second point, public. When I taught the course in the school this past January, I was struck by how purposeful and how public-spirited the students were. They were troubled by certain unmet needs in society, so they came to the School of Public Health to broaden their skills in order to do something about those unmet needs. One student from Africa was bothered by the long waiting time the patients had to endure before being seen by a physician, while the physician's time was being used inefficiently. Another student from Asia was bothered by the stigma associated with, and therefore the scarcity of healthcare resources devoted to mental health in his country. An American student was concerned about binge drinking among female college students. One student wanted to address the lack of availability of healthy foods in poor neighborhoods. Yet another student wanted to quantify the attributable disease burden among people who live downwind from power plants. These are young people whose consuming passion is not their private interest, but that of the public's. I truly, truly applaud them. When Senator Olympia Snowe of Maine announced her decision not to seek re-election a few months ago, she cited as the reason her frustration with the corrosive climate of the public sphere of this nation. Her words conjure up the same frustration cited by earlier senators who retired from public life. Distinguished senators such as Bill Bradley, William Cohen, Claiborne Pell, Paul Simon. It is ironic that in these times when there is so much cynicism about government, that our young people are in fact so public-spirited. The result of this discordance is that the public-spiritedness of today's young people no longer resorts to traditional channels to find expression. They take things into their own hands. This is why social enterprises are flourishing. Technology has enabled the surmounting of many obstacles which had previously impeded ideas from being translated into action, even actions at a large scale. What this means for our graduates is that many entrepreneurial career paths are now open to them. Serving the public no longer means only to work for government agencies or to run for public office. If the students in my class were any indication, many of our graduates will work for the public good in organizations which are private sector in their organization and operation, at once making profits and doing works which were previously consigned to the charitable or the public sector. For them, the goal of making profit and doing good works are not mutually exclusive. They will raise money not from donors or benefactors, but from investors whose expectations are as commercial as they are benevolent. They will run their enterprises for financial sustainability while being true to their mission of delivering benefits to society. Conventional wisdom has it that private interests and public interests are adversarial. People who want both to attend to their private interests and to devote themselves to working for the public good tend to do so sequentially. Society as a whole also tends to oscillate between preoccupation with public interests and private concerns. Post-World War II America is replete with examples of this oscillation, ranging from as short as a midterm election cycle to as long as generational transitions from the baby boomers to Generation X to Generation Y. Perhaps in social enterprises, our young people will find a way of melding together public and private interests, and in so doing, will define a sustainable equilibrium, both in their personal lives as well as for society at large. In idiosyncratic ways, societies all over the world are struggling to find that balance. Lest my words today, together with my words at the school last year, be construed as my being partisan to the private sector as the locus for effecting the public good, I would be remiss not to say that the public sector in this country is ripe for renewal. Historically, the Harvard School of Public Health has produced many graduates who went on to exemplary careers in governments around the world. Among our fellow alumni are a Prime Minister, many Ministers of Health, including our current Dean, and innumerable public health officers, physicians, scientists, policy analysts. My sincere hope is that this tradition of service in the public sector will continue in the years to come. It is only when fine young people, such as our graduates, go into government service that the public sector can be reinvigorated, and with that, public service once again ennobled. I'd like to recognize Carolyn Racklin, who I just learned will be going to work for the State Department. So I'm so pleased to hear that, Carolyn. Finally, let me talk about health. Health can be had by averting disease or by diseases once had being cured or being brought under control. Sickness is an integral part of the human program that can be best described in the words of an English poet, "Every man who lives is born to die." Exogenous pathogens used to play a big part in accelerating the execution of that program, thus cutting short many human lives. One of the most brilliant chapters in the history of medicine was the discovery of antibiotics for treating infectious diseases. When the sulfur drugs and penicillin showed their efficacy in curing infections in the 1930s, it was treated with flat disbelief. Drugs which work so predictably in curing such prevalent diseases were hitherto unknown to man. What followed was an era of exuberant optimism and unquestioned faith in the power of modern medicine. The experience of the last half a century, a period of astonishing scientific progress, has nevertheless taught us that we must use wisely the tools modern science and medicine have given us, with the understanding and the due respect that there are limits to what they can do. Let me illustrate. In the case of AIDS, progress in our understanding of the disease and developing remedies to treat the disease was nothing less than spectacular. In less than 3 decades after AIDS was first diagnosed, the etiologic virus was identified and characterized, and more than 20 drugs were approved by the FDA for treating the disease. What was formerly a sure death sentence upon diagnosis of infection can now be managed for survival measured in decades. Vertical transmission from mother to child can now be stopped. But as impressive as these achievements are, the global disease burden of HIV infection has continued to rise. In several African countries, the percentage of adult population that is HIV positive is now in the double digits. A dichotomy has emerged between our ability to control the progression of the disease in a patient and our inability to control the proliferation of the disease in a population. The same dichotomy is evident if we are to turn from infectious diseases to chronic diseases. Consider obesity and diabetes, probably the most urgent epidemic afflicting developing countries today. We know how to manage a diabetic patient with medication, but we are powerless in controlling the runaway increase in the incidence of obesity. Projection presented at the CDC conference 2 weeks ago suggests that by 2030, 42% of American adults will be obese. In the United Kingdom, that projection is that in 30 years, 50% of the adults will be obese. Unlike infectious diseases, there is not an exogenous pathogenic agent that we can eradicate with medicine, nor is there a vaccine that can be used as prophylaxis. How do we deal with a disease burden whose biggest risk factor is lifestyle? What we eat, how much we eat, how active or sedative we are, or in short, how we live. Eating is so very pleasurable, it probably is hardwired in human nature. How do we curtail pleasure in order to promote health? This is no longer a medical issue, it is a cultural issue and a behavioral issue. The crisis of obesity is a crisis of culture insofar as it shapes human behavior. To pop a pill every day is easy, but to repeatedly refrain from consuming food that is delicious and sumptuous is difficult. All the more now that food is more abundant and the culinary arts more refined than ever before in human history. We who have children know to say no to the little ones, but we don't know to say no to ourselves. It is really, really hard to say no when what is at issue is a T-bone steak, or eggs with bacon, or a chocolate donut, or brownies with ice cream, or Boston cream pie. Who doesn't struggle? Who doesn't struggle with the trade-off between future benefits, ever so remote and contingent, and present gratification that is ever so immediate and real? The comic strip said it well. We have met the enemy, and he is us. I once drove past a Depression-era municipal building in Sioux City, Iowa. On top of the facade of the building were inscribed these words: "There is no greater conquest than that of self." And so it is, whether we are talking about our bodily health or we as a nation, our fiscal health. Experience with both HIV and diabetes show that although the tools used to control the disease in a patient are medical, the most effective means for controlling the proliferation of these diseases is by effecting behavioral change. For our graduates who will go into public health work, tools of medicine and science alone will no longer suffice. For the effectiveness of their work, they will have to look to education, community building, mass media, or social media, legislation, civic leadership. In keeping with the basic tenets of a free society, they will have to find ways to change human behavior for the good. This is a very difficult task. How can we be blind to history that the Enlightenment's lofty idea of the perfectibility of man has left behind a long string of broken dreams? Few are the examples of human behaviors changed in a large scale for a favorable public health outcome. The poster child here that gives us hope has got to be the public campaign against cigarette smoking in America. In 1965, 42% of adults in America were smokers. A cigarette dangling in one's mouth was a symbol of being cool, being sophisticated, being in control. From Humphrey Bogart to James Dean, from Ava Gardner to Lauren Bacall, from FDR to LBJ, cigarette smoking was integral to the social and cultural life of America. The idea that such a pervasive and ingrained habit in American life can be changed was hitherto unthinkable. Worse yet, when that change was opposed by an entrenched industry with a powerful lobbying machine. From the early 70s, mass media campaign, education, and aggressive government actions led to a cultural shift in America's society. Smoking became a cultural taboo. By 2002, the percentage of Americans that smoked had been halved from the peak, and the number of ex-smokers exceeded the number of current smokers. One would like to see this kind of public health triumph for other diseases which are preventable by the reduction of risky behavior. If the track record of perfecting the human race to the elimination of war, crime, hatred, and avarice is less than stellar, perhaps we can do better for the improvement of health. And so I say to the graduates, we look to you for fresh ideas. We look to you for public engagement. We look to you to bring better health to mankind. Many are the public health challenges of the world today. The solution to some of them will be the laurels awaiting you tomorrow. So I offer you my congratulations on this day of your graduation, and I send you all my very best wishes. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chan, for those inspirational words. It's now my privilege to introduce today's alumni speaker, Dr. Elsbeth Kalenderian, who is also the president of the HSPH Alumni Association. She is an oral surgeon by training who received her master's degree from Harvard School of Public Health. Elsbeth has extensive experience in the healthcare, human services, and public health fields. She now serves as chair of the Oral Health Policy and Epidemiology Department and Chief of Quality at the Harvard School of Dental Medicine, where she is responsible for providing leadership to the Dental Public Health Department and overseeing quality in the Harvard Dental Clinic. Elsbeth is an assistant professor in Oral Health Policy and Epidemiology at the Dental School. Her research on the electronic health record is funded through the NIH and focuses on the development of dental diagnostic terminology, development of a dental data repository, and patient safety in dentistry. Additionally, she received an American Dental Association Award for educational research. I am pleased to introduce Dr. Elsbeth Kalenderian to give the alumni greetings.
Dean Frenk, Dr. Chen, distinguished members of the faculty and staff of the school, family and friends of the graduates, and of course the class of 2012, welcome and congratulations. Welcome to the profession of public health, and welcome to the Alumni Association, where our goal is to enrich relationships and support among alumni, students, and faculty. We do that in part by keeping track of where you go, what you do, and whom you become, in an effort to stay connected, like family. Your education here has given you the key to success for the next step of your life. So let me talk a little bit with you about what I think that next step should be. And no, I'm not going to tell you about the content or the context about that next step. Sorry, you have to figure that out for yourself. Pretty sure you probably already figured it out, more or less. However, I'm going to tell you that I believe that next step should make you a little bit uncomfortable. And why would I want to wish that upon you? Just when you suffered through unreasonable homework assignments, outrageously difficult exams, and probably professors who were out of the building just when you needed them most. There are a couple of reasons why I think that taking it easy, making sure that you don't fail, and staying within your comfort zone just isn't the path to success. So let's explore that a tiny little bit for just a few minutes. First, why I think that you shouldn't take it easy. As Drucker explained, we live in an age of unprecedented opportunity. If you got ambition, drive, and smarts, you can rise to the top of your profession. But with opportunity comes responsibility. We all must manage ourselves, and we need to know when to change course. It's up to you to keep yourself engaged and productive during a working life that may span 50 years for a lot of you. In order to do this well, you will need to cultivate a deep understanding of yourself through ongoing self-awareness and self-management. Only when you operate from a combination of your strength and self-knowledge can you achieve true and lasting excellence. And that is hard work. For example, to build that life of excellence, you should concentrate on building your strength. And don't waste time on cultivating skills in areas where you have little competence. You should figure out how you work best. Do you process information by reading about it or by discussing it? Do you like to work alone or in teams? Are you best when things get stressful, or do you prefer predictable environments? You should make sure that the ethics of the organization that you're going to work for resonates with your own values. If not, your career will likely be marked by frustration and poor performance. So next, let's talk about that failure piece. As Garth Brooks sings to us, and don't worry, I won't sing, failure isn't failure if something from it's learned. Failure forces us to reflect, just like Kevin Koo and Dr. Chen told us. It forces us to reflect on our assumptions. As Chris Argyros explains, with failure, one moves from simple problem solving to genuine learning. This involves an extra step in which you reflect on your assumption and attest the validity of your hypothesis. It requires you to step outside the box to assess what's going on, and it forces you to see the bigger picture. So don't become defensive when you fail, but instead critically examine your own behavior. And again, this is hard work. Don't prefer to stay in the safe territory of a mastered area, but rather venture out in that unknown territory. Be brave, explore, fail, reflect, and grow. And then lastly, let me share with you why you cannot stay within your comfort zone. In part, the mission of this school is to create leaders, and I quote from the school's website, "From advancing scientific discovery to educating national and international leaders, the school has been at the forefront of efforts to benefit the health of population worldwide." End of quote. So indeed, we are welcoming you into a family of leaders. However, being a leader, according to Ron Heifetz, is a terrible responsibility. Being a leader means challenging expectations, managing resistance, raising taboo issues, and pointing out inconsistencies between what people say they value and what they actually value. You may scare people, and yes, exercising leadership is actually dangerous. As Heifetz points out, the word leader comes from the Indo-European root word leit, L-E-I-T, the name for the person who carried the flag in front of an army into battle and usually died at the first enemy attack. His sacrifice would alert the rest of the army to the location of the danger ahead. And indeed, the old Dutch word leid, or as we say light, means suffering. So being a leader inherently means we cannot stay in our comfort zone. And I would argue you do not belong there as the great leaders I know you all will become. So I wish you all much luck. And I like to close with the words of Scottish mountaineer William Murray, which are loosely based on a sentence Goethe wrote in his Faust drama. "Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now." Congratulations.
Thank you, Elsbeth, for those remarks and for your service as Alumni Association President. And thank you to all of our alumni who are present for all that you do for the school and for our students. The Harvard School of Public Health Student Awards honor outstanding students chosen through a selective nomination and committee deliberation process. This year, we recognize 14 students. I will announce each of their awards and names and ask them to stand in place and be recognized. I am pleased to announce the following student awards. The Albert Schweitzer Award to Monica Burrell. Monica? The Fang Xing Sun Memorial Award to Joshua Lee Glassner. The Edgar Haber Award in Biological Sciences to Jessica Lucas Yeeses. The Gareth M. Green Award for Excellence in Public Health Practice to Jessica Therese Celentano, Alex Urban Cox, and Joseph David Lippy. The James H. Ware Award for Achievement in the Practice of Public Health to Adna Asai. The Robert B. Reed Prize for Excellence in Biostatistical Science to Mate Nakov-Nakov. The Student Recognition Award to Rosemary Weiber. The Teaching Assistant Awards to Caitlin Aika Caspi, Ankur Pandya, Pamela Marie Rist, and Kirsten Scott. And the Uwe Brinkman Memorial Travel Award to Ka Yul Lim. The Harvard School of Public Health Teaching and Mentoring Awards are based on student feedback through course evaluation questions that focus on the quality of teaching and effectiveness in class. For the teaching awards, and through student nominations and committee vote for the Mentoring Awards. This year we recognize 7 faculty members. I'll announce each of their awards and names and ask you to recognize them as a group once I have announced them all. I'm pleased to announce the following faculty awards. The Roger L. Nichols Excellence in Teaching Award to Joseph Pliskin, Adjunct Professor of Health Policy and Management. Teaching citations to Brent Kuhl, Professor of Biostatistics, and Jane Kim, Assistant Professor of Health Decision Sciences. Mentoring awards to Robert Blendon, Richard L. Menschel, Professor of Public Health and Professor of Health Policy and Political Analysis. Gunther Frenk, Assistant Professor of International Health Economics. Maria Glimor, Assistant Professor of Society, Human Development and Health. And Stephen P. Marks, Francois Xavier Banyud, Professor of Health and Human Rights. Please join me in congratulating these faculty on our Teaching and Mentoring Awards. The Harvard School of Public Health Staff Recognition Award was created last year by student government to ensure that members of the HSPH community who are neither faculty or students are acknowledged for their efforts to help students at the school. Specifically, staff members who make a significant impact on the lives of students at the Harvard School of Public Health. This award is intended to acknowledge the importance of non-classroom and mentoring activities in the lives of students. This year we recognize 2 staff members, Leah Kane, Assistant Director for Student Affairs, and Barbara Zuckerman, Assistant Director of Faculty and Academic Affairs. Please join me in congratulating Leah and Barbara. And now, each department chair or representative will read the names of doctoral graduates while the chair of the Committee on Admissions and Degrees, Dr. Meredith Rosenthal, hoods the candidates.
Health. Matthew Thomas Blana. Lana Dinich. Constant Jean Martin. Jessica Lucas Yeeses.
It's an honor to present the PhD recipients in biostatistics. First recipient is Brian Lee Claggett. Congratulations. Rain Shui. Congratulations. Gaurav De. Jessie Jan Su. Lauren Brooke Hund. Jessica Lynn Larson. Roland Albert Matsuaka. Jessica Nicole Minier. Layla Parast. Anna Catherine Snavely. Tamar Sofer. Elisa Jane Stevens. Alpha Ibrahim Muke Yansani. Sihai Dave Zhao.
Dean Frenk, Dean Hunter, Dr. Chan. For the Faculty of Environmental Health, I'm very pleased to present the candidates who've earned the Doctor of Science in Environmental Health. Shelley Rachel Early. Christina Hempel Fuller. Denise Marie Goggin. Denise Page Lemereau. Hyungju Lee. Alexander Marinkovich. Wen-Chi Pan. And for the joint degree in Environmental Health and Epidemiology, Peter James. And for the joint degree in Environmental Health and Health Policy and Management, Mohammed Aloayan.
Good afternoon. I'm happy and honored to present the Doctoral of Science degree for those earning the degree in Epidemiology. Meng Meng Du. Jessica Hartman Jacob. Jason Liu. Mitchell John Macchiella. Elsbeth Mostovsky. Miley Ray. Megan Chabon Rice. Pamela Marie Rist. A joint degree in Epidemiology and Biostatistics, Yang Swang Hung. Joint degree in Epidemiology and Environmental Health, Angelique Lambro. Joint degree in Epidemiology and Environmental Health, Jennifer Nguyen. Joint degree in Epidemiology and Nutrition, Sarah Jean Hendrickson.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the faculty in Global Health and Population, I'm honored to present the recipients of the doctoral degree in Global Health and Population. Ana Milena Aguilera Rivera. Tabena Didigwu Enekwe. Yarlini Sangita Balarajan. Annie Chu. Victoria Yume Fan. Rifat Afifi Hassan. Sarah McCarthy. Livia Seidel Montana. Tomoko Ono. And Linling Zhang. joint degree with Global Health and Population and Environmental Health, Kathy Dionisio.
Good afternoon. It's my honor to present the recipient of a doctoral degree in Health Policy and Management, Alexander Farley Arriaga.
On behalf of the Department of Nutrition, it's my pleasure to present the Doctor of Science in Nutrition to Juliana F.W. Cohen. Yujun J. Congratulations. Christina Maria McDonald. Carolyn Elizabeth Boecki. This includes the Doctor of Science in Epidemiology as well as Nutrition. Sejun Jung. Congratulations. Cindy Leon. Congratulations. Katrina Maslova. Deidre K. Tobias.
Good afternoon. I'm honored to present the recipients of the doctoral degree in the Department of Society, Human Development and Health. J. Robin Moon. Benjamin Capistrant. Caitlin Eicher-Caspi. Erin Kathleen Dunn. Allison Marie Al-Ayadi. Josephine Wonsoon Han. Natalia Linos. Erica Lair Sabbath. Nancy White Street. And Monica Lishang Wan.
And now Stan Hudson, Associate Dean for Student Services, will present the Master of Science and Master of Public Health degree recipients.
I'm honored to present the recipients of the Master of Arts in Biostatistics, Yared Yamurabi Pita Juarez, Florence Yong. For the Masters of Science in Biostatistics, Yasmik Alvitrian, Xiao Peng Tsai, Amy Johnson Graves, Alice Wong. The Master of Science in Environmental Health, Sarah El Samurai, Julie Bernie George, Maria Hempel Harris, Lynn Chinima Onyebika, Devankush Saha, Melissa Georgia Seaton, Chia Shi Tang, Matthew William Pumpney. Eleanor Elizabeth Wade. Geneviève Bouchard-Fortier. Joyce Elaine Cow. Yan Yer Chow. Xu Wei Chang. Juan Liu Chow. Carol Claire. Caterina Maria DeVito. Jacques Donzet. Leslie Virginia Farland. Javier Garcia de Albanese. Maureen Elizabeth Harris. Omer Hassan. Jennifer Carrie Lee Hawes. Rutendo Kashambwa. Chung Min Kim. Ja Yong Kim. Shin Lee. Xiao Chen Lin. Victoria Francine Macias. Ernest Israel Mandel. Alexis Matteau. François Pierre Mongeau. Jun Hee Pyo. Connie Mi Young Ri. Dahlia Shash. Amy Surumi. Elan R. Witkowski. Ayai Yamamoto. Cheng Zong Huan. Chen Yuan. Master of Science in Global Health and Population. Amadea Kendra Britton. Sasha Beth Bouchot. Jessica Therese Celentano. Aparna Chandrasekhar. Elena Shanti Chopiak. Alex Urban Cox. Michael Simpson Dillon. Joshua Lee Glasser. Ali Hamandi. Sarah Ruth Jonathan Bittman. Joseph David Lippy. Slava Ran Rokiki. Donai Konstantinos Rumus. Katyani Set. Asta Sharma. Jennifer Ashley Ward. Ifan Shu. Eru Yang. Rachel Margaret Zach. Masters of Science in Healthcare Management. Felix Aguilar Enriquez. John Louis Alexander. Daniel Joseph Donovan. Armin Ernst. Anthony Joseph Geraci Jr. Michael Scott Hine. Michael Ray Hicks. Sherry Ann Holmes. Hyun Jung Lee. Rosemary Ann Leeming. Thomas Gerald Lynch. Mark David Monk. Ronald George Nihas. Deborah Wallace Robin. Allison Maria Scholes. Shimul A. Shah. Jeffrey Steinberg. Amy L. Tucker. Mark Clarence Walker. Enche Zama. Master of Science in Health Policy and Management. Hannah Rachel Auerbach. Heather Elizabeth Bello. Raymond Deng. Belin Friley. Tia Goodman. Juan Chen Kung Graham. Ted Clarence Edward Henson III. Bethany Holmes. Oliver Xu. Yun Mi Kim. Ryota Konishi. Joseph Kunhee Lee. Catherine Chafee Lewandowski. Joanne Lim. Patrick McGee. Chinwe Udodi Nuosu. Jesse Ortendal. Christina Emily Papernick. Grant Martin Picarillo. Ding Shin Kin. Caroline Reggie Racklin. Charlotte Reardon. Caitlin Taylor Reiki. Uzaib Yassin Saya. Kate Marie Shamsuddin. Martina Scarron. Callie Shannon Snively. Faith Melody Wu. Yasumasa Yamamoto. The Masters of Science in Society, Human Development, and Health. Adriana Marie Burse. Robert William Bulow. Manuela Vaz Costa. Amy Enfalt. Marie Helen Fedorovich. Stephanie Morgan Fossbenner. Zina Haddad. Hanai Hayashi. Kate Louise Hertz. Chin Lun Hong. Angelica Leveroni. Sarah Claiborne McKetta. Mariah Reed Rich. Emily Elizabeth Ricketson. Jimena del Carmen Rubila. Yosuke Takasaki. Tien Yi Huang. The Masters of Public Health, the MPH. Ajibola Ibrahim Abioyi. Getty Abraham. Oluwaseun Kolabo Adeola. Ruth Aga. Deepika Gopal Agarwal. Oluremi Nina Ajala. Olakekan Akim Ankanbi. Shahid Ali. Talib Y. Ali. J. Ronald Allen. Omid Amali. Afalaran Ayomide Amodu. Angela Adesua Asamota. Atena Asiai. Aleha Ashike Elam Aziz. Joanna Bayu. Matthew Adam Bartek. Elizabeth Marie Berryman. Courtney Ray Bettinger. Monica Burrell. Saurabh Bhagava. Deborah Lazy Martin. Josh S. Boris. Izzy Brucker. Amanda Bancroft Barrage. Michael Simmons Calderwood. Johanna Marina Castrillon Correa. Andrew Wan-hee Che. Elizabeth Ching Chen. E. Yong Chen. Claire Elise Child. Sarah Lauren Cohen. Brandon W. Comfort. Suvida Dabas. Adedayu Emmanuel Dada. Vivek Datta. Denise de la Nueces. Andre Dick. Osagi Austin Ebekozian. Christopher Doherty. Catherine Enright. Alagoke Abdul Salam Ewe Dairo. Mosoka Papa Fala. Andrew Pfeiffer. Amparo Figueroa. Jan Peret Fleche. Temitope Ayodele Folaramoni. Juan Daniel Trindade Fontes. Sansai McDuffie Fowler. Diona Risa Gaskin. Alina Sheru Ann Gary. Demetra Sarah Ashley Gibson. Ritu Ranhawa Gill. Joyce Soinda Chitangu. Sarah B. Goldberg. Louis Salonso Gonzalez. Jeffrey Gatto. Alexandra Julia McRae Gregg. Kave Ajifapalian. Jonathan Douglas Hansen. Rebecca Ivy Hartman. Catherine Linnea Harvey. Larissa Ilona Hausmanis. Narissa Adriana Haynes. Megan Albert Healy. Rebecca Ann Hoban. Adam Idris. Priyonke Ayer. Zarif Kados Yabal Lopez. Brooke Allen Jardine. Brenna Elhard Jenny. Kevin Johnson. Suzanne Carol Johnston. Tyler Matthew Charles Johnston. Brian Michael Kaiser. Alicia Kassam. Alan Taylor Kelly. James Raymond Kennedy. Oeas Edjaj Wajja. Susan Maria Kine. Bo Hyun Kim. Alvin Chen Yen Ko. Kevin Koo. Irene Kulwick. Jason Christopher Croning Roche. Daniela Kroshinsky. Tracy Kruzik. Sonal Kumar. Johnny Chun Lin Kwok. Ashwini Lakshmanan. Michael Thorpe Larson. Claudia Levine. Jean Hugh Lee. Ji Hyun Eunice Lee. Paul Christopher Lee. Yen Chen Lee. Jennifer Lesko. Natalie Ann Lester. Chi Lee. Amy Kia Chin Liu. Siri Lelegraven. Diego Alejandro Lim. Y. Kit Low. Aaron Lindquist Medensi. Raymond Bernard Mayo. Claudia Elizabeth Mayolo. Naila Makani. Noel Maniendo. Allison Neal Martin. Marla Drew McKnight. Nikte Itzel Mejida. Winstone Mokaya. Simon Derango Machushoi. Naho Morisaki. Stephanie Kirsten Mueller. Oliver Mitten. Marisa Daria Nadash. Elna Mieko Nagasako. Anil Nanda. Michael Yushen Ni. Julia Elizabeth Helene Nolte. Erica M. Noonan. Rebecca Kamunto Waini Ogembo. Tom Olumide Ogungbemi. Velepi Joanna Okelo. Olowatushin Obeyimi Omole. John Daniel Omura. Ashiachukuao Gertrude Onyengbu. Ruvi Purik. Henry Sue Min Park. Jonathan Boyd Carr. Bhavini Narendra Kumar Patel. Cassandra Grace Kunkel Heitzman. Elizabeth A. Henner. Pedro Emilio Perez Cruz. William Richard George Perry. Catherine Peterson. Ashwata Pakrel. David Michael Polson. Luciano Prevedelo. Nadanai Punaninitan. Molik Praful Puroyit. Oma Ayman Kwetawala. Minal Reimchula. Sungita Rana. Catherine Louise Record. Joshua Rempel. Daniel John Reniff. Emily Elizabeth Rosine. Mary Frances Ross. Adesina Hussein Sani. Jose Manuel Sarmiento. Christopher Lothar Klaus Schlett. Jonathan Daniel Schoenfeld. K. Chung Si. Borum Sharon Seo. Hanul Seo. Nuzat Sheikh. Maknush Sharif. Shaheen Shirzad. Melissa Lily Shive. Sarah Elizabeth Sinasak. Moritz Felix Sinner. Dorothy Amy Sippo. Timothy Richard Smith. Vera Gudrun Maria Sistenich. Carolina Vanessa Solis Sanabria. Jin Su Song. Brian Shaw Sorensen. Kevin Owen Stewart. Alexander Philip Stoffen. Predrag Stojicic. Anna Marie Stout. Rathan M. Subramaniam. Paul Sullivan. Louis Tiong Chin Tan. Stefan Pin Kon Tan. Candace Tanis. Dennis James Tihan Jr. Reem Kelmasani. Guo Yen Ting. Hugo Torres. Sei Man Se. Yusuke Sugawa. Idarisit Ededet Udo. Patience Gregory Ugui. Samuel Vaillancourt. Harriet Jillian Christine Van Spal. Colleen Vessel. Yannick Mary Vibert. Sherry Beth Ward. Hannah Alice Warren. Rebecca Lee Wolf. Mei Huang. Chen Ying Wu. Diane Wu. Rosemary Weiber. Jin Min Xiao. Jia Yin Shui. Norihiro Yamaguchi. Chi Chao Yang. Marcus Yap. Julie Nissim Youssef. David Gary Zacharias. Jin Ming Zhang. Ladies and gentlemen, HSPH class of 2012.
As we near the end of this commencement ceremony, I want to thank Gerald Chan for his inspiring remarks. I hope you and all of us accept his challenge to pursue both ideas and ideals to improve people's health, whether it be through careers in government, nonprofit organizations, academia, or in the private sector. When I first met Gerald, we found that an element we had in common was that we both had great mentors. I believe Gerald would be the first to admit that he would not have been as successful as he is today if he had not had a great mentor in Professor Jack Little. My mentor's name was Avedis Donabedian, who among many other virtues was an HSPH graduate, just like you are as of today. I believe, I am certain that many of you will be called upon to be leaders, but your roles as mentors will be one of the most important tasks you will take on in your careers. In our age of mass education and productivity-driven workplaces, the mentor has become something of an endangered species. Yet a mentor plays an irreplaceable role. He or she sows in your mind and in your soul the seeds that will nourish intellect and spirit for the rest of your life. This is what Avedis Donabedian gave me. There is a certain genealogy to mentorship. During his time as a student here, Avedis had benefited from a warm mentoring relationship with a faculty member by the name of Franz Goldman. I benefited from Avedis' mentorship, and I hope I have subsequently mentored others. And now I am back at HSPH, calling on each of you at this commencement to consider how you can mentor others in the years ahead. As you leave this ceremony today, my wish is that all of you will go on to emulate the guides and mentors you have encountered throughout your lives, including the time you were here at HSPH. Those mentors may have been faculty or staff members. They may, in fact, have been fellow students. For some of you, a parent may have also been your most important mentor. Whatever professional roles you may find yourself occupying in the years ahead, you will need colleagues and mentors to help and sustain you. I hope that you will have the generosity of spirit to be a mentor to others as well. You have received the best education, that we know how to deliver. But we know that we can always do more, better. In 2013, we will be celebrating the centennial of the first professional educational program in public health at an American university, the Harvard-MIT School for Health Officers, the direct precursor of the Harvard School of Public Health. In preparation for that centennial, we're taking a comprehensive view of our educational strategy. For example, Harvard and MIT recently announced an exciting new initiative called edX to expand our ability to provide online education, thereby enhancing the educational experience for our students. This year, we created the Center for Public Health Leadership at HSPH, and many of you have benefited from the programs it is offering to promote leadership competencies. We have just heard from our commencement speaker, who is an accomplished leader, and our student speaker, who I have no doubt will be a future leader. Today and yesterday, at our student award ceremony, we have celebrated leadership and having the courage to pursue one's own path. This is why we have decided to establish what we are calling the Leadership Incubator for Strengthening Health Systems here at Harvard School of Public Health. Its purpose is to encourage lifelong leadership development in public health, starting with promising leaders such as you and continuing through the entire life cycle. Today, I have a very special announcement. Our school has received a major gift from a generous anonymous benefactor to help fund the first component of the Leadership Incubator. This is the largest gift to support education ever made to Harvard School of Public Health. It demonstrates how important this donor believes educational innovation is to the future of our world. As its central component, this gift will enable our faculty to redesign the Doctor of Public Health degree in order to orient it towards the development of the competencies required for high-level policy analysis and problem-solving leadership. Through pedagogical innovation, the new program will empower the future leaders that health systems all around the world, including the United States, require to meet the complex challenges of our times. Just as our school led the way as the first in public health graduate education nearly 100 years ago, this gift will enable us to continue as the leading school of public health, first in time, first in quality, first in the capacity to shape the future. As we look at this and other ways to improve the way we teach, inevitably, we will be incorporating the use of online learning, case-based teaching, and a host of other pedagogical approaches. But what will never be abandoned are the timeless values of personal relationships among students and the mentorships between faculty and students. This will continue to be the most important way all of us learn from each other. In a few minutes, you will leave this ceremony anxious to get started on the next phase of your careers. But remember, learning and developing your skills as leaders are lifelong pursuits. We hope that you will return here often, whenever you need advice, consultation, mentoring. Become active in your alumni association and find ways through it that you can mentor the students who will follow you here. Stay in contact with those among your fellow students and faculty who have inspired you. No matter how far you travel in the days, months, and years ahead, we are as close as the alumni community on our website. During my opening remarks, I ask you to consider a question. How will health improve over the next 25 to 50 years? And what will you do to lead the revolution? What will you do to make the world a healthier place in the years ahead? Some of you came to Harvard School of Public Health because you were doctors in emergency rooms, seeing patients who never would have been there if they had had better preventive care or access to less expensive care than in an emergency room. Others of you came because you had a commitment to underserved, underrepresented people in the US and around the world. You came because you want to create better ways to help people avoid a potential pandemic or a chronic disease like diabetes or stroke. You came because you want to understand the scientific mystery that underlies the transmission of an illness like malaria or Chagas disease or AIDS, or that causes an environmental toxin to trigger asthma or cancer. You came because you wanted to translate some of the vast knowledge that we already have about how to prevent and treat disease, to find ways for policymakers to use that knowledge to design better health systems, and for people to use that knowledge to lead healthier everyday lives. I can hardly wait to see what you achieve and how people's health is improved around the world as a result of your efforts. As my mentor, Abedis Donabedian, once said, and I quote, "The world of ideas and the world of action are not separate, as some would have us think, but inseparable parts of each other. Ideas, in particular, are the truly potent forces that shape the tangible world." End of quote. Not one day goes by when I do not benefit from the many ideas that my mentor sowed in my mind and in my soul. I hope that we have sowed a few ideas in your minds and a few ideals in your souls, and that they will inspire you to transform the lives and health of people around the world in the years ahead. Congratulations to the class of 2012.